There's a quiet rhythm to the way my mornings unfold here in Okinawa. At 5:30 a.m., before the village stirs, I settle onto my tatami mat, warm miso soup in hand, and watch the morning light spill into my garden. I'm 86 this year, and somehow my legs still feel strong. They carry me on slow walks among the trees, up and down the garden path, with no need for help. Sometimes people ask me, "What's your secret?" I smile and say, "It's not a secret, it's breakfast." In today's video, I want to share a gentle lesson from my life, the one food I've always had in the morning, and how it may help you keep the strength in your legs too. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching this from, and what time is it for you? Please leave a comment. I look forward to reading each one. A gentle truth. Why our legs fade after 60. When I was younger, I never thought about my legs. I simply walked. I ran. I carried buckets of water from the well and climbed hills behind our home to gather wild herbs. My legs were like the earth, strong and quiet beneath me. But as I entered my 60s, I began to notice a small change. Not pain, just softness, a little less strength when I stood up from the floor, a hesitation when stepping over stones in the garden. This, I came to learn, is not unusual. It is something that happens to many of us after 60. Slowly, the muscles in our legs begin to fade, not because we are weak, but because our bodies with time forget how to hold on to what they don't use often enough. There is a word for this: sarcopenia. Doctors in America use this term to describe age-related muscle loss, but in my life, I don't use the word. I simply say, the legs grow quiet. The legs you see are the first to whisper when we stop moving enough or stop feeding them well. They carry us every day, yet we rarely feed them properly in the morning when they are hungry for strength after a long night of rest. A friend of mine in California, his name is Bill, once wrote me a letter. He said, "I'm 68 now. I used to be able to hike for hours, but lately my knees feel weak and my legs don't want to listen." I smiled when I read it, not because it was funny, but because I understood. I wrote back to him and said, "Bill, son, it's not too late. Your legs are just asking you to care for them. Give them movement. Give them nourishment, especially in the morning." The truth is gentle, but powerful. If we don't eat what our muscles need, especially after 60, they begin to disappear. This is not a punishment. It's nature. But we are part of nature, and we can respond with care. In Japan, we believe that breakfast is not just food. It's a way of greeting your body. It is the moment where you say to your legs, "I still need you. I still love you. Let's walk another day together." What matters is not just eating anything, but eating the right thing. Protein, fermented foods, minerals, warmth, tradition. In the next part of this video, I'll tell you what I eat every morning. Not just because it is delicious, but because it has helped me, truly, to keep walking on my own at 86 years old. But before we go there, I want you to ask yourself gently, what did I feed my legs this morning? Not just your stomach, your legs, because they carry your whole world. What breakfast means in Japan. In Japan, breakfast is not just the first meal of the day, it is a ritual, a quiet moment between the body and the soul, where we prepare ourselves not just to eat, but to live. When I was a boy, my grandmother would wake before everyone else. The scent of miso broth would drift through the house as the sky was still dark. She would gently place a wooden tray on the floor, a small bowl of rice, miso soup with tofu and seaweed, a piece of grilled fish, a pickled plum, and some simmered vegetables. Nothing fancy, but everything chosen with care. She used to say, Asa go hanwa, karada no aisatsu. Breakfast is how you greet your body. There was no rush. We sat on the floor together. We said, itadakimasu, with both hands, before eating. A small way of saying thank you to the food, to the farmers, and to our bodies. Looking back now, I see how powerful this habit was. It wasn't just tradition. It was shokuiku, a way of teaching the body and mind to respect food, to understand nourishment, and to treat eating as a form of care, not just consumption. In Japan, we learn this from a young age, but it becomes even more important as we grow older, because after 60, what we eat in the morning decides how we move in the afternoon. I have visited America a few times, and I noticed something that surprised me. Many older people skip breakfast entirely, or they have coffee and maybe a piece of toast. Sometimes, just sugar in the form of cereal or pastries. I don't say this with judgment. I say this with concern, because when you wake up, your muscles are empty. They've gone all night without food. Especially the muscles in your legs, they are like a garden that has not been watered. If you give them only caffeine and sugar, they cannot grow. They cannot stay strong. That is why Japanese breakfast often includes warm soup, high-quality protein like fish or tofu, fermented foods like natto or miso, and small amounts of vegetables. It's not heavy, but it's deeply nourishing. And there is something else. In Japan, we don't eat standing up. We don't eat while driving. We sit down, breathe, and take time, even just 10 minutes. This calmness also helps digestion. It tells the body, you are safe, you are cared for. I believe breakfast is one of the most overlooked forms of medicine, especially for people over 60. It is the one moment each day when we can feed the parts of ourselves that are fading, not just with food, but with presence. In the next part of this video, I will tell you the one food I never skip in the morning. It's simple, it's gentle, and I believe it has helped keep my legs strong for decades. But before we move on, I invite you to look at your own mornings. Do they begin with care or with hurry? Because your body listens, even when you're not speaking. The one secret food I eat every morning. If you were to visit my home in Okinawa early in the morning, you would always find one thing on the breakfast tray: a bowl of warm miso soup. Not a large bowl, just enough to hold in both hands. Inside, soft cubes of tofu, bits of seaweed, sometimes a slice of daikon radish or a few mushrooms, whatever is in season, but always miso. For over 40 years, I've never skipped it, not even once. Why miso soup? Some say it's just tradition, but I believe it's more than that. Miso is made from fermented soybeans. It is alive. When you eat it, you are feeding your gut, your muscles, and your mind all at once. In my younger days, we didn't talk about probiotics or protein content, but now I understand what my grandmother somehow knew. Miso is one of the gentlest ways to begin your day, and one of the most powerful. Let me explain simply. After you sleep, your body is in a kind of quiet repair. Your muscles, especially in your legs, have rested all night. But they've also gone hours without fuel. When you wake up, they need protein. Not just any protein, but something your body can absorb gently. Tofu gives that. It's full of plant-based protein that is soft on digestion, but strong for the body. Seaweed gives minerals like calcium and magnesium, which are like small builders for your bones and joints. Miso itself is fermented, which helps your gut absorb nutrients better. This simple bowl, which may seem too humble to matter, is in fact a quiet medicine. And there is something else, something not often spoken aloud. Miso soup brings warmth. Not just physical warmth, but emotional. When I hold the bowl in the morning, it feels like I am holding a part of my past, my childhood, my family, my purpose. One morning, my granddaughter, she lives in Tokyo now, visited me and asked, "Grandpa, how are your legs still so strong?" I laughed and pointed at my soup. "This little bowl," I told her, "has carried me further than you think." She rolled her eyes and said, "It's just soup." But a few months later, she called me and said, "I started making miso soup before work. I think it's helping me feel grounded." I smiled, because that's the truth. When we care for ourselves, even in small ways, the body remembers. You don't need to be Japanese to make miso soup. You don't even need all the traditional ingredients. You can find good miso paste at most grocery stores in America now. You can use soft tofu, a bit of seaweed, maybe add spinach or mushrooms. Just warm water, miso, and love. That's all it takes. How this food helps your legs. Explained simply, let me tell you something I learned not from a doctor, but from my own body. In my early 60s, I started waking up with stiffness in my knees. Not pain, exactly, just a tightness that made the first few steps of the day feel heavy. My friend said, "It's normal." But something in me said, "Maybe, but maybe there's more I can do." That's when I began paying attention, not just to how I moved, but to what I ate before I moved. And over time, I realized when I started my day with protein, especially from tofu and miso, my legs felt lighter, steadier. Modern science has started to say the same thing. Studies from Japanese universities like Kyoto and Osaka have found that people over 60 who eat protein in the morning preserve more muscle than those who eat most of their protein at night. Why? Because your muscles are most ready to use protein in the morning after fasting overnight. It's like watering a dry garden. The first sip is the most important. Miso soup with tofu and seaweed gives 3 things your legs are quietly asking for. 1. Protein, especially from tofu, which is soft and easy to absorb. It helps repair and maintain the muscle fibers in your legs. 2. Minerals like magnesium, potassium, and calcium from seaweed and miso. These support your nerves and prevent leg cramps, which become more common as we age. 3. Probiotics. Miso is fermented, which helps your gut absorb the nutrients you eat. A healthy gut means better use of every bite you take. And don't forget warmth. Warm food in the morning signals to your body that it's safe to wake up gently. Cold cereal or iced coffee may be quick, but they don't offer the same sense of comfort and balance. Some people ask, "Can I just eat eggs or a protein shake?" Yes, of course. But there's a reason miso soup has survived for hundreds of years in Japan. It's not just about nutrition, it's about balance. In traditional Japanese culture, we don't talk about carbs or fat or calories. We talk about harmony, how food makes us feel, how it supports us through the day. And I've found that miso soup brings harmony to my legs, my stomach, even my thoughts. You don't need to believe me. Just try it for 1 week. A small bowl in the morning. Notice how your legs feel when you stand up. Notice if your steps feel stronger by mid-morning. Because sometimes the best medicine isn't found in a pill bottle. It's found in something warm, made with care, and eaten slowly as the sun rises. Other gentle morning foods that help. While miso soup is the heart of my morning, it is not the only thing I eat. In Japan, we often say that health is not built on one food, but on the gentle harmony of many small choices, repeated with care. I want to share with you a few other foods that I've eaten most mornings for decades, each one simple, comforting, and quietly powerful in helping keep my legs strong. Let's begin with natto, fermented soybeans. I know the smell and texture can be surprising to many Americans. Even my granddaughter used to wrinkle her nose at it. But natto is one of the richest plant-based sources of protein, and it contains a natural enzyme called nattokinase, which may help with circulation and muscle recovery. Just a spoonful on warm rice is enough. Then there is small dried fish, like chirimenjako. These tiny salty fish are full of calcium and omega-3s. In Japan, we sprinkle them over rice or eat them alongside pickled vegetables. They help strengthen bones and reduce inflammation in the joints, something I've quietly relied on for years. Another quiet hero is brown rice, genmai. Unlike white rice, it still has its bran layer, which holds fiber, magnesium, and vitamins your muscles need to contract and relax properly. It gives long, steady energy without the crash. And of course, boiled eggs, simple, familiar, and easy to digest. Sometimes I mash a soft egg with a touch of miso paste and place it on top of rice. A small act of care, but the protein it gives my legs lasts all day. Let me not forget the vegetables. In Japanese breakfasts, you often see simmered carrots, daikon, or spinach lightly dressed with sesame. These are not heavy or greasy. They are warm, soft, and full of the colors your body needs to stay awake and balanced. We don't eat large portions, just a few bites of each, but those bites count. Now, I understand not everyone has access to these exact ingredients, but I believe the spirit of the meal is more important than the details. If you live in the US, here are some simple replacements. Instead of natto, try unsweetened soy yogurt or a small serving of tempeh instead of dried fish, canned sardines, or a few walnuts for omega-3s. Instead of brown rice, whole grain toast or cooked quinoa. Instead of Japanese pickles, lightly salted cucumber or kimchi. Instead of spinach with sesame, try sautéed greens with olive oil. It doesn't have to be Japanese. It only needs to be gentle, warm, and respectful to your body. What matters is the intention. When you sit down, even for 10 minutes, and offer your legs something nourishing, you are saying to your body, I haven't forgotten you. I still need you. I still want to walk. One of my American friends told me, I don't have time to cook like you. I told him, just start with one thing. Even a boiled egg and warm tea. That's a beginning. It's not about perfection. It's about presence. Because muscles are not only built in gyms, they are built in kitchens, in quiet mornings, in bowls filled with care, morning rituals that support strong legs. Eating well is only one side of the story. In Japan, we believe health is not just what you put into your body, but also how you move it, how you breathe, and how you begin each day. There's something we call asa no katachi, the shape of the morning. It's not about productivity or checking boxes. It's about creating a rhythm that tells your body, you are alive, you are needed, let's begin. For decades, my morning has started not just with miso soup, but with radio taiso, a gentle stretching routine broadcast on Japanese radio since the 1920s. You may have seen schoolchildren or factory workers doing it together. But here in Okinawa, even people in their 80s and 90s do it every day. The movements are simple: raising arms, twisting gently, bending the knees. It takes just 3 minutes, but it wakes up every part of the body. You don't need the radio. You only need your breath and your willingness to move. Another ritual is something so small, it often goes unnoticed, walking barefoot indoors. In Japan, we leave our shoes at the door. We walk on tatami mats or wooden floors with bare feet or soft slippers. This practice, besides keeping the home clean, strengthens the small muscles in your feet and ankles. It improves balance, a key part of leg strength as we age. And then there's the way we sit. Most mornings, I sit cross-legged on the floor while eating breakfast. It's not always comfortable now, but I still try. Sitting this way helps stretch the hips, engage the core, and gently challenge the legs when you stand up. In Japan, many older adults can still squat or sit low because they never stop doing it. These movements, though small, keep the legs quietly active. One thing I never forget is deep breathing. Before I eat or move, I take 3 long, slow breaths through the nose. This calms the nervous system and brings oxygen into the muscles. It's easy to forget, but breath is the first nourishment. Without it, even the best food means nothing. There's a Japanese proverb I love, harahachi bunmei. It means eat until you are 80% full. This isn't just about digestion, it's about listening. When you listen to your stomach, your legs, your breath, you live with more awareness, and your body thanks you for it. Even 10 minutes of morning rituals can change how your legs feel for the rest of the day. To summarize what you can try: gentle stretching as soon as you wake, walking barefoot at home, if safe, sitting on the floor for a few minutes or using low chairs, deep breathing before breakfast, eating mindfully without rush. These are not exercises. These are expressions of love for your body. My friend once said, "I don't have time to do all this." I told him, "You don't need time, you need intention, because every day your legs carry your story. Isn't it worth giving them a soft, steady start? A final story." My friend in California. A few years ago, I received a letter from an old friend in California. His name is Thomas. We met when I visited the US decades ago for a cultural exchange. He was warm, curious about Japanese traditions, and we kept in touch ever since. In his letter, Thomas wrote, "I'm 72 now. My legs feel weaker than they used to. I don't walk as much. Some mornings I skip breakfast. I just don't feel like moving." I sat quietly after reading that. I know that feeling. Not because I've felt it myself, but because I've seen it in the eyes of many elders here too. The quiet fear of fading. The silent question, is this just how it ends? So I wrote back, not with advice, but with a story. I told him about my mornings, about the miso soup, the radio taizo, the quiet walk barefoot to my garden. I told him, "You don't need to do everything. Just one thing. Do it with care. And do it again tomorrow." 2 months later, he emailed me. Guess what? I bought miso at a local Asian market. I started having soup with tofu in the mornings. I even stretch while the water boils. My legs feel steadier. It's not magic, but something feels different. A year passed, then he sent me a photo. He and his granddaughter walking together in a small park in San Diego. The sun was soft, and his smile was wide. The caption said, "Still walking, thanks to breakfast." That photo is still on my wall. You see, it's never too late to begin again. Our legs may grow old, but they still respond to kindness. They listen to the food we give them, the movements we offer, the quiet rituals that say, "I'm still here and I still want to walk." If you're listening to this now, I hope you know you're not alone. Whether you're in New York or Nebraska, whether you're 61 or 87, your legs are listening. and every small thing you do for them matters. So now, dear friend, I leave you with a simple question. What if tomorrow morning you fed your legs just a little differently? Not with guilt, not with pressure, but with care. A bowl of miso soup, a stretch by the window, a breath before the day begins. These are not just habits, they are small promises between you and your body that you are still walking, still living, still choosing to move forward. I would love to hear from you. What is your morning like? Have you tried any of these foods or rituals? Let me know in the comments. Your story matters more than you think. And if you found something helpful in today's video, please consider subscribing. I have many more quiet lessons to share from my life here in Okinawa. Important reminder: health information shared in this video is not medical advice and may not apply to everyone. If you are concerned about your health, please speak to your doctor or healthcare provider. If you think you may be having a medical emergency, call your doctor or emergency services right away. Until next time, walk gently.